So we've learnt just today that the number of people on unemployment payments will surge to 1.8 million by December. Now that's 300,000 more than the previous projections. And that's from the Department of Social Services in Senate estimates today. And we've also had it confirmed that the number of people who will find themselves on unemployment payments will be higher in 2024 than it was before the recession. So the numbers will be, the projections are 1.3 million in 2021-22, 1 million in 2022-23, and then 900,000 in 2023-24. Now, to put that into context, there were 813,000 people relying on unemployment benefits in December 2019. So this obviously shows us the jobs crisis is going to get worse, yet of course there is no plan for jobs from this government. But for the people who rely on benefits, for every person who has not enough to live on, that flows through to our local economies, that flows through to my local businesses, to the hairdressers, to the coffee shops, to the supermarket, to the petrol station. Every single business in my community relies on there being a flow-through of funds, and we all know that people who are on social security benefits flow all that money through into their economy. So it is a very short-sighted move to say, let's squeeze these individuals, set aside the impact it has on them individually, on their health, on their families, on their mental health. Think about what that consequence is for our economy. I'm very conscious that there is a perception that businesses are struggling to employ people, and there's no doubt it is a patchy recession and there are uneven consequences. But that's not good enough reason to make everybody suffer, which is what the concern about not having ongoing permanent support does. If JobKeeper can be sustained till March, why can't we see JobSeeker at least sustained till then? Why can't we see levels commensurate to what we're putting in other things? This inconsistency is very hard to fathom. I drew interesting consequences from the Deloitte latest business outlook, which talks about 2021 looking more like a usual recession rather than the sort of recession that we're seeing, which we may or may not still currently be in technically, but we all know that the consequences of a recession, they get cleaned up on paper a long time before they get sorted through in the community. And it talks about families and businesses facing a cash crunch between now and the end of March 2021 as JobKeeper and JobSeeker are dialed back. So it is reinforcing this idea that while the recession arrived fast, it's going to leave us slowly, and measures that pull back this support too fast are absolutely going to mean it's a cash crunch. And as I say, this is going to be different in different areas, but I look at the Blue Mountains and the Hawkesbury in my electorate of Macquarie, and parts of it are my wonderful manufacturer of teardrop caravans, Frank and Olga, they're doing really well. They are in one of those businesses that is really thriving in this environment. They're in South Windsor. Frank took a punt. He built 7 of his teardrop caravans, not knowing whether it was a good decision or not. It's proven to be a fabulous thing to do, and they're being bought sight unseen online. But that isn't the case for every business. They're not in businesses that necessarily have been able to thrive in this very peculiar and difficult set of circumstances that we've found. What Deloitte concludes is that right now we need continuing government support. They need to be going hard and going smart. And that's what Australia needs right now. My concern is that this is not smart. It will be devastating for many individuals and their families, but it may also be really devastating for our economy. And what's absolutely appalling is that out of it the Prime Minister has no plan to get even close to full employment, not even a hope of it, let alone a plan for it. So Deputy Speaker, they're the considerations that I would urge the government to have.